bad news for Devin Haney. And I love when the opportunity arises for your boy Ego to have a real teachable moment. So I'm going to take you guys through this. As you guys know, I know my sport of boxing. I know what's going on at all times. This is my job, right? Robert Garcia had a fighter who was supposed to fight, and I want to go over what was said. He says, "We do not accept the fight. Say what you will. When a team makes a decision like that, it is easy for them to criticize, but in the sport, many tragedies have happened due to failure to follow the rules. We made our decision, and that is how it will be," right? So the team is like basically trash talking, saying, oh, he didn't want to fight us, but they missed weight. It says yesterday at the weigh-in of Maisal and Omar, the two fighters were told they could not gain more than 4.5 kgs the next day. 81 kgs was the limit. We arrived at the arena and Chino weighed himself like all the fighters. Omar was the only one who did not want to weigh himself. And then when he finally weighed in, he weighed 86.7. So he was only supposed to weigh 81 kgs, and then he weighed in 86 kgs, right? And then you have also his advisor who put this: Maisal fight did not happen because his opponent was about 10 pounds over. And while the WBC and the commission, as well as Robert Garcia and myself, recommended to him that it was not safe at that point, he still considered fighting, in which I reached out to our promoter and agents of our promoter multiple times to get an offer from his opponent's side for Maisal to consider. No offers came at all. Rodriguez is an Olympic medalist who is undefeated and fighting a guy about 10 pounds over with zero incentive to do so is just insanity. Rodriguez is not some desperate fighter who needs a couple of bucks and can be forced into an unfair situation that we all know can and does often have horrible consequences. He made the right decision tonight. So you have a team who clearly care about their fighter, and he's an Olympian, and they like, yo, you ain't got to fight this dude. Like, we know you wanted to fight because it was going to be against Julio Cesar Chavez's son, right? And they're basically saying, like, although, I'll let you guys look at this real quick. So you had an opportunity to fight somebody with that famous surname, Omar Chavez, right? So this fight got a lot of press because, you know, Chavez is a G. Julio Cesar Chavez is a legend. Now, I know some people are like, why'd you bring up Devin Haney ego? Why did you do it? Let me explain it. Because this is the same scenario that happened with Devin Haney regarding the Ryan Garcia fight. And I'm showing you that you have a fighter whose team, Robert Garcia. Now, Robert Garcia frequently, you know, he's Mexican-American. He frequently talks about machismo and, you know, showing the best of yourself and showing that heart and things like that, right? But he's telling you that I'm not sending my fighter who's undefeated, right? The fighter is undefeated, right? He's like, I'm not sending my 14-0 fighter in there just because he's fighting the son of a legend and, you know, just for a bag. And I'm going to send him in there with somebody who wasn't supposed to weigh more than 81 kg and they weighed 86. So they're, you know, they're over the weight and it's not that serious. You live to fight another day. And that's why some people are confused, like, hey, what happened to the fight? I was looking forward to the fight, And you have the team who's coming out and expressing and telling the public the fight is not happening. We made the right decision. And then on top of that, we're not doing it for low money. Like, maybe if you sweeten the deal and there's something for us to consider, but you gotta look at the scale and determine what is what. So the reason I'm bringing this in, because Floyd Mayweather tells everybody at the end of his post-fight interviews, I got a heck of a team. Devin Haney's team had him in there with Ryan Garcia, who missed weight by 3.5 pounds and was already a guy who beat you in the amateurs, who hurt you in the amateurs. I heard it popped his eardrum, stuff like that. You fought 6 times. He beat you 3 of the times, and you sparred him, and he was swinging crazy and stuff like that. So this is just a reality check. When your team cares about you and is experienced, they have that wherewithal to kind of look at the situation and say, yeah, it could be good, but given that the opponent wasn't professional enough to make weight, it could also be really bad. So that's a risk we don't want to take. And I talked about this April 20th when Devin Haney team, after he initially lost, his team was like talking about how it was unfair and Ryan cheated, but you accepted his money. So like I said from the beginning, that becomes a different ball game. He paid you $600K for breaking the contract and missing weight. And that's up to you and your lack thereof negotiating skills. If you wanted more money, then you should have pressed and got more money. But I think Devin, who him and his father claim that Devin is the face of boxing, right? They knew that Ryan was the true A side, despite them saying that Devin is the face of boxing. So they knew they didn't have no pull, and this could be disastrous if the fight gets canceled, because it'll be just a disappointment. But that's a disappointment that you got to deal with. Like, I wouldn't care. And I told you this, what Robert Garcia is saying is what you should do. Why fight a guy who missed weight? This is exactly what I say. Why fight someone who's egregiously missed weight? And then if you do decide, at the very least, you better tax them and make sure you win the fight, and make sure that you're comfortable with this decision and you're getting a level of money, or you're being incentivized to the point where you're not going to complain, you're not going to cry, you're not going to be mad if this doesn't work. So I think this shows the difference of the experience in the teams, because Devin Haney's team was so supremely confident that someone Devin's age, someone who felt they had Devin's number, someone as powerful as Ryan Garcia, they would let him miss weight, right? And then say, oh well, and only take, you didn't even get $1 million for his fudge up. Robert Garcia, he's like, nah, I'm pulling my fighter. I don't care what y'all talking about. And I respect that, because that's what should happen. Why your fighter's undefeated, like Devin was undefeated, you know what I mean? And you're going to send them into battle with someone who is trying to cheat them, at least by not making the weight. Now, the moment Devin took Ryan's money, that's where it's no longer cheating, because you entered a new deal. You entered a new deal. So you got to get what you can get and make it make sense for the person and the transgression, right? You like, hey, you missed weight by this much, you did this, I need another $2 million. And then at least if it don't play out like it didn't play out for Devin Haney, it like hurt his brand. At the very least, you could say like, man, I got the money I was looking for. At least, my stock is in the drain, but I made a lot of money. Devin got $600K for Ryan Garcia beatdown for him missing weight. He got an extra $600K. Totally not worth it. This is what I said. And that's why this situation with Omar Chavez missing weight reminded me of the Ryan Garcia thing. And I think Robert Garcia and his team, they handled it the right way. It's not worth it for us to press forward. We don't care how many people are disappointed. We're not giving Omar Figueroa or whatever, Omar Chavez, we're not giving him that type of advantage. And that's a strong team to make that decision where you don't care about the public outcry and ruining the event and all that. Somebody trying to get over on your fighter, hey, you got to nip that in the bud. Shout out to Robert Garcia for that.